Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome. Tonight is our Redox Talks. My name is Julie Mcdonald, and I'm here to share a breakthrough with you that can help change your life. ASEA products have changed me in a way that have helped my health, go on a new level. It's helped me with a lot of hormonal issues. It's also helped me with some injuries that I've had. And the list keeps going on and on and on. So, but tonight we've got a very special guest, Barry Aneda, who is going to share his redox experiences. But before we get started, I invite you to think about a few questions to get in touch with what you're looking for in life. You know, do you have your own health challenge, or do you know of someone with a health challenge that needs help? You know, would you like to reduce the visible signs of aging? Do you need more energy to do what you love to do? Are you an athlete looking for improved performance? Or are you looking for more time and more money freedom and a better lifestyle? To really live well, we all need two basic things: a body that can do whatever we ask it to do, and enough money to do some of the great things that we really love doing in life. And to have that body, you might be exercising, you might be eating correct foods, or you may be taking nutritional supplements. And you might be doing everything that you can think of, or you might not be doing anything at all. But no matter what you are doing, it can be frustrating as you age because your cells respond less effectively to all of those strategies. Your cells naturally break down and producing energy less efficiently, and they're also repairing themselves a lot slower. So if your cells could be a little more efficient, your exercise, nutrition, supplementation, and everything else that you could do could be more effective, would that be worth having a listen to? And you could be living healthier, longer, with a lot less effort. So several years ago, scientists made a groundbreaking discovery. They identified molecules natively produced inside our body that help our cells repair and regenerate. Once discovered, years of research and development went into figuring out how to produce these molecules outside of the body so that they could be used as a nutritional supplement. The result is a molecular technology that helps your cells work better. And when your cells work better, everything works better. Your exercise and diet efforts become more productive, nutritional supplementation works better, you feel better, you look better, you sleep better, and you have a lot more energy. So I would like to now introduce Barry, and I'd love to hear about his redox experience. So welcome, Barry. I think you may be our first USA guest that we've had, for a little while anyway. So,
okay.
Barry, without using disease names, could you tell us a little bit about what your life was like before you started using ASEA?
Yeah. So, so a while ago, a few years ago, I developed a bacterial infection in my skin. That affected my entire body. It did become systemic. It was in my system. I was on all kinds of antibiotics. They weren't working. I had to go on a specific antibiotic to treat it because it was a specific type of bacterial infection. But it took a long time for them to really discover that. My roommate also struggled with the same infection. So we had developed it from each other, basically. To not use any names, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, it wasn't known what exactly was going on with me, and so I was being put on medication after medication after medication, getting sicker and sicker and sicker. It affected my skin, like I had said. It was in my leg, it was in my back, it was in my face, it was in my neck. It pretty much traveled all over my body. And it would spread. So anyways, I did get put on some antibiotics, and the specific antibiotic that they finally recently tried within the past year did help me. But I still had issues with my skin healing. In other words, my skin would kind of heal and then would break open. And even though it wasn't infected, my tissue was just weak and beat up, basically, is what was happening. So anyways, I had met someone and came to Australia to visit that person. And this person introduced me to ASEA. So I was just recently introduced to it. And at this point, I was like, you know, listen, Anthony, I will try anything. Just let's go ahead and give it a whirl. Let's see what happens. And what I found was the gel is really what I like the most, I think. I think the drink is great too, but what I found was the gel really soothes my skin and it cools it much better than anything the doctors were trying with me. And I had tried all kinds of things, from oral antibiotics to specific creams, specific medications that they were offering. And so I use the gel, the Renew gel, and I also have the skincare component that comes with ASEA, and I use the intensive gel treatment that's in there. And I use the moisturizer when I feel I need it. And what I find is it cools my skin and it really reduces inflammation, allows my skin to feel better. And I look a lot better than what I used to look like when I first started it. Now, when I first started ASEA in end of February, beginning of March. So I've only been on it a short time. And I have found that it is the best thing that actually keeps my skin cool, keeps my skin less reactive, and it allows my tissue to heal better as opposed to what my doctors were trying me on. Now, can I mention some of the things, Julie, they tried me on? Or no?
No.
Okay. So let's just put it this way. I went to a dermatologist. I went to a PC general practitioner. They tried me on all kinds of different medications prescribed by dermatologists, prescribed by GPs, general practitioners. And what I have found is that the only thing that I really enjoy being on my skin is the Renew gel and the intensive treatment and the skin treatment that I'm using right now. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's so good. So tell me, one of your career paths, Harry, is that you're an actor. So how did this issue impact you in that career?
Talk about, Julie.
Pardon me?
I'm not gonna lie. And actually, when you asked me to do this, I was like, do I really want to talk about this? Because it still affects me emotionally to this day.
We don't have to go there if you don't want to.
No, we'll go there. It'll be all right. If I shed a tear or two, it'll be all right. So this issue has affected me for years of my life. So I've had this infection. I've had this ongoing battle for about 20 years. And I am a theater major. I am a psychology major. I'm a psychotherapist. I'm a creative arts therapist. And one of the things that I love to do is music and theater. And because of this issue, I could not put makeup on my skin. I couldn't perform because the stage makeup would irritate my tissue and it would just open up, and then I would have these sores. And when I get the sores on my skin, they don't heal for months. So yeah, so did it affect me? Yeah, it severely affected me. I just started taking pictures of myself again. I just started doing videos again. So as Julie knows, I play guitar a little bit, I sing, and I just started doing some of that again. Whereas before I didn't want to do any of that because I constantly had some kind of sore going on.
Yeah.
So just to give you an idea, back in 2013, I took a stage makeup class, and I almost didn't pass the class because I couldn't get through the class because the makeup was so irritating to my skin that I was having all kinds of issues, and my teacher, my professor, was trying to do the best that she could to allow me to try to heal, to get it done. Eventually, what ended up happening is I made it to my last assignment, and I just said, heck with it, we're just going to do it. And I just went and I did it. And then I made it through. But I mean, as you can see, I didn't have the stamina to do shows. I didn't have the stamina to perform the way that I normally do. So yeah, so it's been a horrible experience, honestly. And I would actually be willing to bet that I have some trauma from it, because it's just been such a horrible experience, and my family and my friends can all attest to it. Yeah, so it's been rough.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when it's something that you're so passionate about.
Right.
So when you first started using the gel, how much were you using and how often?
Okay, so when I first started using it, I would use it pretty much like in the morning, and I would use it in the afternoon. I probably was doing it like three times a day when I was at my worst. And what I found was I had some stuff on my face still, and what the gel was doing was it was helping it to dry it off and peel it off. And so that's what was happening, is my skin started to shed a little bit, and it shed those areas that I have 3 particular areas on my face that have been affected. One on my forehead, one on my cheek, and one on my nose. And it was helping to really peel those areas off much better than the medication that I was being put on, the creams I was being put on, and much better than some of the pills that I was taking. And so I use it, and so now it's one of those things. And I've tried also like incorporating some of my medications with it. And what I found is my medications are irritating and they don't work. And so I stopped using them. And once I stopped using them and just use the ASEA gel, particularly the gels, my skin cools and it reduces inflammation, which is something I wasn't having with my dermatologist. My dermatologist was even getting frustrated with my situation, because everything that he was trying, I just have one of those things where my skin has been damaged by that particular bacteria, and I don't heal well from it.
Yeah. And so how quickly, you arrived in Australia, you've never heard of redox before, you'd, meeting new people for the first time, and you started using the gel. How quickly did you notice a difference?
So really within days. I mean, that was the thing, like I had said, I had that one on my nose, and it really wasn't budging for months and months and months. And so I met Anthony, and Anthony was like, just do this gel. And I remember like there was one time I got out of the shower and I walked over and I was like, wow, it's really flaking. And within a couple of days, it just started to shed off. So I would take my shower and my skin was just starting to shed off, and new skin was growing. And that's really, and that was, I just was here for a week that time. So it was within days that I was seeing a difference. So yeah, I mean, I still struggle with the issue. I'm still not perfect. My skin is not perfect by any means, but I certainly have healed a great, much more than what when I first started, and before I even started using the gel. And it's only been, what, Julie? It's only been a month now that I've been using it. So I mean, and I'm getting better and better. The more that I use it, the more it reduces inflammation. The more I would get like little bubbles in my skin and stuff, and those bubbles have flattened out and subsided. Whereas opposed to before, when I was just doing the dermatology stuff, I was constantly having flare-ups, and my doctor was like, oh, we might have to do surgery and cut those out of you. And so all of this stuff. And so, and now I'm not at that point where I'm going to need like a surgery like that, where I need to be cut out, which would be yucky. I may do some more kind of resurfacing stuff in the future, and then use the gel, while I'm recovering from that. But before, my doctor was talking about a pretty big surgery where they were going to cut those things out of me, and then I was going to be left with a scar.
Mm. Yes, and I can imagine, if you, you as someone that loves acting and loves doing performances, that if you want to go back into that career, certainly having scars on your face would not be ideal.
Right.
So after 4 weeks of use, you've I think you've come a long way, and I think that must be exciting for you. How does it make you feel now when you look at yourself in the mirror and you can see this change?
Well, I feel better, obviously. I mean, I'm not happy that I'm not 100%, but what can you expect after 20 years of being infected, right? I mean, so that's the thing, it's been going on for 2 decades of my life. I started with this in my 30s. And so, yeah, so it's definitely much better. It gives me more hope that things are going to be better. And so that's kind of where I am now, where I'm, like my skin is healed. Like, here's the thing is my skin is healed. And as before, I wasn't healing. I was having sores. I would have sores on my skin, like open sores. And you saw me, Julie, when I first came too. And Anthony saw me. And so everyone's, all of you have seen me, where I was having those issues. And so now my skin is closed, and it doesn't open up unless I do something like use my dermatology medications or something like that. As long as I keep the gel on, it cools my skin and it allows my skin to grow and heal. And so now I'm at a point where, like, I may look into some resurfacing, like some kind of, I don't know, some kind of like, some kind of resurfacing, whatever some of these folks can do. But I don't need to have anything cut out of me, and that's cool. Like, I'm not going to need to have an actual incision where I'm going to have a knife scar on my face or anything like that. I just need to get some resurfacing and get my skin to continue to rejuvenate.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, we try and tell people that, only 10% of people get a result in a week, 50% in a month, 75% in 2 months, and 95% in 3 months. So you may find that continual use of this, you may not even need that resurfacing.
Right. And so that's one thing, like, I'm just continuing to use it. And like I said, it makes my skin feel smoother and better when I do it. I mean, immediately when I put it on, I am feeling that my skin does improve. So yeah, so it's been really helpful. So we'll have to see how things go in the future. But yeah, it's been really, really helpful. I'm really happy with it. And like I said, I just got my second shipment in just recently, so I'm still, using it. But yeah, it is definitely improved. And like I said, having my skin be able to actually close and stay closed is a huge success.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited for you, and I really appreciate you, being so open and sharing with us something that is raw to your heart, because it is still very fresh for you. So we really do appreciate your time and the fact that you have done that for us tonight.
Of course, absolutely.
So I just want to make everybody aware that ASEA products are not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any condition. They essentially empower cellular communication and cellular function. So please get back to the person who invited you to watch this presentation, and they'll let you know how you can get started and have your own redox experience. Next week, we will be hosting a very special redox talk on gut health. I'm sure a lot of you know people that have got gut health issues. At 7:30 on next Tuesday night, please come along and invite people along who you care about so that they may be interested in hearing about this information. So I thank you all for your time tonight. Barry, thank you again, and we'll see you next week for the special gut health talk.